Hello, welcome to another edition of my vlog. In this vlog, I will talk about the importance of self-acceptance. We have to accept who we are. To give an example from my own life, I have my own interests. I am interested in Christian theology, and most people where I live have no interest in Christian theology, so I am on my own. I am also interested in certain parts of history, like I'm interested in Russian history. And I don't think many people in Dundee are interested in Russian history. So I have my own unique interests. And as I have said already, I am on my own in a way. But I have to accept who I am. Why be somebody else when you can be yourself? You have to be comfortable with yourself and who you are. It's not good trying to be like somebody else. No, you have to be who you are. So I will keep on reading Christian theology because that's who I am. I love Christian theology, especially practical theology, even though hardly anybody else where I live is interested in Christian theology and history. I mean, for instance, Russian history, even though not many people where I live are interested in Russian history, I will keep on being interested in Russian history. So I need to be content with who I am. And to give another example, so I am single and I have to be content in my singleness. I shouldn't be looking at others who are in relationships and desire to be like them. No, I have to be content with me. So I have to be happy with me while I am single, and likewise being unemployed. I have to be content being unemployed. I shouldn't be jealous or envious of people who have jobs right now. No, I have to be comfortable with me. So we have to gain self acceptance. Don't try to be like everybody else. No, you need to be true to yourself. I, I don't mean I don't mean that we should be accepting of sins and passions in our lives. No. So if you have an anger problem, you shouldn't accept and be content with your anger problem. Or if you have a pride problem, you shouldn't accept and be content with the pride problem. No, no. Sins and passions have to be done away with. So, to give one more example, if you watch pornography, I mean, you can't accept and be content with your habit of watching pornography. No, you have to stop watching it. You have to live for something better. I mean, with addiction, you have to have purpose in your life. You have to have something in your life that's more important than the thing you are addicted to. So when it comes to pornography, get purpose and don't accept the fact that you watch porn and so that's who I am. I watch porn. No, you have to fight it. You have to fight it with the help of God's grace. Or if there is a bad habit in your life, you can't say, oh, I'll just keep on doing the bad habit because that's who I am. No, you have to stop with the bad habit. Or if you have done something wrong, or you are doing something wrong, I mean, maybe you mistreat people, you swear at people, you shout at people, you belittle people, then you can't say that's who I am. No, you have to stop with the anger problem. You have to stop swearing at people and shouting at people. So I don't mean that we should get self acceptance in regard to sins and passions and habits and awful things we have done. No, but what I am saying is we should accept who we are. Like if you have an interest, if you are interested in something and nobody else near you has the same interest, don't feel ashamed. Don't abandon the interest. No, keep on with the interest, even though nobody in your area has the same interest. No, I mean, your interest in that interest makes you special. So I repeat it again. Your interest in that interest makes you special and makes you unique. So we have to be content with who we are. Or if there is something else in your life, say you are eccentric, you are a little bit eccentric, you shouldn't be ashamed because you are eccentric. No, you shouldn't be ashamed. You should be content with who you are. Who cares what others think? I mean, I don't mean by that we should just do horrible things and not care what others think. No, I'm not saying that. And if somebody is constructive in their criticisms of us, we should listen to their criticisms. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't think about what others say about us at all, or what they think about us. No, I'm not. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, generally speaking, we shouldn't care about what others think about us. Uh, and so, if people think that you are strange because you have your own interests or you do your own thing, then you shouldn't care because your interest, your unique interest, and you doing your own thing, that makes you unique. So accept who you are, especially if you are a Christian. Like I am a Christian and I live in Scotland, and Scotland is a very atheistic country. The vast majority of people in Scotland aren't Christians, and especially young people. Probably about maybe I don't know, maybe 97 or 98%, or maybe even 99% of young people in Scotland, my age, are not Christians. And Dundee, most people in Dundee aren't Christians. And in Scotland, churches close every year. Like we lose so many churches every year. And in Scotland, the Church of Scotland, that is the main denomination, that is declining. It is declining at so fast a rate. It loses so many members a year, and so many Church of Scotland churches close, or they merge congregations together because the size of these congregations is dwindling. So, especially for me, life can be very lonely because, as I said, most people in this country are not Christian believers. And the vast majority of young people my age aren't believers. And so, all around me, you see people who have different values than you, and you don't exactly have anybody to talk to. I mean, if you want to talk about spiritual things, if you want to talk about something you have read in the Bible, or if you want to talk about Jesus Christ, or living the Christian life, you can't really talk to anyone here. It's very rare to find somebody with whom you can talk about these things. Even Christians in Scotland don't like talking about these things. So life could be very lonely. And I'm not the kind of guy who gets tattoos and things. And I am not the kind of guy who goes to nightclubs. Yet it seems that a lot of people have tattoos and a lot of people go to nightclubs. And again, I feel a little bit lonely sometimes because it seems like I'm the only guy who just enjoys simple pleasures. It seems like I'm the only guy who just enjoys good conversation and going out just to walk, just to have a quiet walk together. And I'm the only guy who likes staying in and just enjoying creature comforts at home in the evening and at night. Uh, and a lot of people don't read either. I think most people in Dundee probably don't read. Like they don't read books. They only read what they see online or newspapers or whatever. And again, it feels lonely because it's hard just to find somebody who appreciates books like you do. And so it's very easy for me just to say, you know what, I'm just going to be like everybody else. I'm just going to, go to nightclubs and get drunk and get lots of tattoos and just be like everybody else. I'm going to stop reading books just like everybody else. I'm going to stop reading Christian theology just like everybody else. I am going to stop reading about Russian history or the English Civil War because hardly anybody is interested in those parts of history, at least where I live. Uh, and so I'm just going to stop reading history that relates to uh, you know Russian history and the English Civil War and things, or the history of the early church. So it's very easy just to say that, oh, I want to be like everybody else. I want to have lots and lots of friends. And so I am going to just fit in. I'm just going to fit in and abandon all the things I did before and stop with the interests I had before. But we can't do that. We have to be true to ourselves. So, even though I live in a country that is very atheistic, even though I live in a city and the city is, again, it's very atheistic, and hardly anybody in Dundee seems to be believers. Despite that, I'm still going to remain a Christian. Despite that, I'm going to keep on being a Christian because you can't follow the crowd. You can't follow the crowd. You have to be true to who you are, even if it's painful. Uh, and it is a little bit painful because you are the only Christian, it seems, and it means loneliness. It means loneliness, even if you have friends in your life. I mean, if they're not Christians, I mean, it's good having those friends, but still, you want to speak to somebody about the Christian life. And so, even if you have lots of friends, it can still feel lonely because you don't have anybody with whom you can talk about the Christian life or spiritual matters. But you have to keep on being a Christian, even though you might be the only Christian where you live. And I mean, you have to make that sacrifice for Jesus Christ. I mean, the loneliness is your cross. So the loneliness I feel and not having anybody to pray with or to talk to about spiritual things, that is my cross. I have to bear that cross. I have to bear it, and I'm bearing it for Jesus Christ. I'm making that sacrifice for Him. And Christ experienced loneliness, and so my loneliness is a participation in His loneliness. So, I'm going to remain a Christian. I'm going to keep on being a Christian, even though in Scotland hardly anybody is, especially young people. I mean, you still have older people attending church. For instance, elderly people. I mean, elderly people do go to church. At least, a higher number of elderly people go to church, and quite a few middle-aged people go to church. But with young people, hardly anybody does. And I'm 25. I'm 25, uh, and so yeah, I'm still young, and I want to make the most of my youth. Yet it's so hard. It's so hard because I only have one friend, and that one friend doesn't even live in Scotland. And so it's hard making friends here because you want a friend who is a fellow believer, but you can't find any friends who are fellow believers here. It's hard, very, very hard to find it. And I would like to have more friends, God willing. And likewise, I'm still single, and it's hard finding Christian young women my age in Scotland. It's so hard. It really is hard. And even women who are slightly older, again, it's quite hard finding Christian women in Scotland. Uh, but I have to be content with who I am. I am a Christian. That's that's me. That's who I am, and I'm single, and that's who I am. I have to be comfortable and content in my singleness. So you can't follow the crowd. And I know I keep repeating it, forgive me, but you can't follow the crowd. So if you are the only Christian where you are, you have to be happy with that. You have to accept the sacrifice because, in a way, you are making a sacrifice. And so, gain self acceptance. Don't try to be like everybody else. No, no, I mean, it's a waste of time. I mean, be yourself, be who you are, gain self acceptance. So, who cares if you are the only Christian where you are? Who cares? Who cares that you are the only one who is interested in something, in a particular topic? Who cares? Who cares if you are the only person with a hobby in your area? Who cares? Who cares if you are the only person who has a particular skill? Who cares? Who cares if you are a little bit eccentric? Who cares? Don't change yourself. Like, don't change yourself in that way. No. Be comfortable with who you are. Just be comfortable. Don't desire to be like others. Uh, so yeah, swim against the stream. And so yeah, we have to be happy with ourselves. And I think especially when it comes to relationships, because if you are looking for a man or a woman, you have to be happy with yourself. You can't be insecure. And so, if you're talking to a man or a woman, I don't think they will be very impressed if you are not true to yourself. No, you have to be yourself, and you have to be open about who you are and what makes you unique. You shouldn't be insecure about who you are. And so when it comes to relationships, don't tell lies. Don't tell lies because you want to seem more normal to the person you're talking to. No, don't tell lies. And don't change yourself in order to seem more normal or to conform to what you think that person wants for a partner. No, you have to be upfront with who you are. You have to be open about the fact that you are a Christian, or the fact that you have a unique hobby, or you have a unique skill, or you have unique interests. You have to be comfortable with you. You have to be comfortable with you. You will never meet anybody really, or you will never get into a satisfying and fulfilling relationship if you hide who you are. Because insecurity is not a good thing. And if you are insecure about yourself, then nobody will be drawn to you, because it's hard to respect someone who changes themselves just to conform to the expectations of society. It's not something you really respect. So be true to you. And I know there is the danger because, I mean, if I am saying be true to you, then you could take it the wrong way. Like, you could take it the wrong way. So if you have pride and anger and hatred in your heart, then you might hear me say, be true to you, and you will say to me, well, I'm going to keep on hating. I'm going to keep on being angry because I'm being true to me. I'm being true to all the hatred and anger in my heart, and it's best not to suppress it. I don't mean that. I mean, when it comes to sins and passions and vices, you have to put them to death. But what I am saying is, all the unique things about your personality, all the unique interests you have, all the unique hobbies you have, all the unique skills you have, all the eccentric habits in your life, and the fact that you are a Christian, you have to be true to that. You have to be true to all of that. Don't try to be like society or the world. So, maybe, if you are interested in classical music, don't start listening to pop music or rock and roll because most people in society listen to that kind of music. No, keep on listening to classical music. Or, if there is a television program and most people don't like it, but you like it, and if there isn't anything sinful about the television program, then enjoy the television program, even if most people mock you for watching it. I mean, we shouldn't be scared of who we are. We have to get self acceptance, especially when it comes to loneliness. Like when it gets to night time and it is just before bed, you will start feeling lonely perhaps. And when that happens, you think negatively and you start hating yourself because you can't abide being alone with yourself. You can't stand being alone with yourself, and so you're not comfortable with who you are. And that's why you want someone to be there with you, because you can't stand being alone with yourself and your thoughts. So when it comes to loneliness, we have to learn to accept ourselves for who we are, because it makes the loneliness more bearable. So if you accept who you are and if you are comfortable in your own skin, And if you are true to yourself, and if you are happy with where God has you in life, and if you are happy with your personality, all the unique things about your personality, and if you are happy with your hobbies and skills and interests, and if you are very happy at the privilege of being a Christian, then loneliness is more bearable and you are more comfortable with yourself. And so we have to accept who we are. We can't look at others. We have to look only at Christ. And we shouldn't compare ourselves with others. We should compare ourselves only with Christ and his standard and his teaching, especially the Sermon on the Mount, because what happens is we look at other people and we want to be like other people. And so if we are slightly different from others, then we are not happy with ourselves because we want to be like other people. And so that's why we shouldn't compare ourselves, because if you compare yourself with others, then possibly you won't be happy with yourself because you're not like everyone else. And so you might change yourself. You might try desperately to fit in, but in trying to fit in, you lose what made you unique, what made you special. And trying to be like other people, you're not very convincing most of the time. And people see it, people notice it, and people have no respect for you because you are so insecure about who you are. So, I will repeat that again because I think it is so very important. Don't compare yourself with others, because comparing yourself with others, you feel awful about yourself because you're not like everyone else. And in trying to be like others, you lose what made you unique, what made you special. And in trying to be like others, it's not very convincing. And people will see you trying to be like them, and they will have no respect for you because you are so insecure and unhappy about yourself. So we shouldn't compare ourselves with others. We should compare ourselves only with Christ. And comparing ourselves with Christ, we know how we should live. And also, we recognize that Christ made us this way. And so, Christ has given us all unique talents and unique skills. So, we should be happy with how Christ has made us. And so we should be who Christ made us to be, who God made us to be. So we have to be accepting of ourselves and physically too. So, I'm not the tallest, and I have to be happy with who I am and accept the fact that I am not the tallest, because we have to accept reality. But and so I'm not the tallest, so I have to accept that, and I have to be happy with that. God made me this way, and I should be happy with that. I'm not the tallest, and I'm happy with that. Or if you are very tall, don't feel awful about the fact that you are tall. No, God made you that way. Or if you are in a wheelchair, don't be unhappy with the fact you are in a wheelchair. Yes, it's easier said than done. And I'm not saying that God made you that way, because some people are in wheelchairs because of accidents. No, so I'm not saying that God made you that way if you are in a wheelchair, because that is slightly different. But if you are in a wheelchair, then you have to learn to be happy with it. Like you can't be unhappy about the fact you are in a wheelchair and desire to be like everybody else, because that will just make you unhappy. or if you have a birthmark on your face and it is noticeable, don't be unhappy about that. Like, don't feel awful about yourself because you have a noticeable birthmark on your face. Don't be unhappy about that. You have to be comfortable with who you are physically. So we have to gain self acceptance. We won't go anywhere in life if we are insecure. No, we will only do things in life and we will only live a fulfilling life if we are true to ourselves. So, if you are a little bit strange, who cares? If you are a little bit eccentric, who cares? Who cares? And don't feel like a loser. You are not a loser. You are made in the image of God. You are not a loser. You are not stupid. You are not nothing. You are made in the image of God. So don't say that you are a loser. No, you are made in the image of God. Don't say that you are weird and feel awful about that. No, you are made in the image of God. And don't be upset with who you are. No, be happy with being in the image of God. And you are unique. There is no one like you in this world. You are unique. You are unique. And so, gain self acceptance. Be happy with who you are. And so, if you have a unique personality, be happy with it. Be happy with your personality. So if you are introverted, be happy about being introverted. Or if you are extroverted and wish maybe you were more introverted, be happy about being extroverted. Or if you have a unique hobby and nobody else has that hobby, be happy with the hobby. Or if you have a unique skill, be happy with that skill. Or if you have your own interests, then be happy with your interests and keep on being interested in those interests. Or if you are physically unique, say you are very short or you're very tall, then be happy with the fact you are very short or very tall. Don't be insecure about it. Or if you are a little bit eccentric, be happy about being eccentric. And if you are a Christian believer and nobody else is where you have to remain a Christian believer. Be happy about being a Christian. It's a great thing to be a Christian. And if you feel lonely, then that loneliness, you are bearing it for Christ. And He sees your sacrifice. He sees your sacrifice for Him on His behalf. And He loves you for it. And your loneliness is a participation in His loneliness because Christ experienced loneliness when He was still on this earth. And if you feel lonely, you have to get to the point where you are comfortable in your own company, and that will come largely through accepting who you are. Or if you are single, don't be envious of others who are in relationships. No, be content in your singleness. Enjoy your life because life isn't all about getting married or being in a relationship. No, you are here to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. You are here to make the name of Christ great in this world. And you are here to be a creature of reason and virtue, and you are here to love your neighbor. So if you are single, be happy about being single. Love your singleness. Don't try to be like others in a desperate way. No, be patient, and be content. So accept who you are and be comfortable in your own skin. And so, if you are speaking to a man or a woman, don't be insecure about who you are. No, be happy with who you are, because if you are insecure, the other person won't be very impressed, because they can tell that you're insecure and that you're not happy being yourself and that you are trying desperately to be like other people. And so you won't find a good partner if you are insecure, if you don't accept the fact that you are you. And don't compare yourself with others. Don't compare yourself with others. Look only at Christ and be happy with how he made you and try to live by his teachings, and don't follow society. And so don't compare yourself with others, because comparing yourself with others, you look less impressive and you think that you are weird and strange because you are not like everyone else. And so you are not accepting of who you are because you compare yourself with other people and you want to be like everybody else. And so you try to be like everybody else, and so in trying to be like everybody else, you lost what made you unique and what made you special. And other people seeing you trying to be like them, they look at you with contempt because they know that you are insecure and they know that you are trying to be somebody that you're not. And the act you are performing and trying to be like everybody else, it's not convincing because you are denying who you are. And in denying who you are, it's not very convincing if you are trying to be someone you are not. At least that's what happens most of the time. Or if you get to the point where you convince others that you're like them, still, you're not being true to you. And maybe it will slip out. Your true identity will slip out somehow. And so, don't compare yourself with others. No. Why be somebody else when you can be yourself? Don't be like everybody else. No, be yourself. Trying to be like somebody else is a waste of the person you are. Don't try to be like somebody else, and don't try to conform to society's expectations. No, no, no. Be you, because God made you you. You are unique, and so be the person that God made you to be. And so, yeah, be accepting. Don't try to be like others. Learn contentment and accept reality. Accept reality. And so, yeah, accept who you are. Don't try to change yourself in order to be like others. And again, I say this just for safety. Sins and passions. No, you have to get rid of the sins and passions and bad attitudes and bad thoughts. You have to get rid of these things. And so, loving yourself and accepting yourself doesn't mean accepting sins and passions and bad attitudes and vices and bad thoughts and bad habits. No, you have to get rid of these things and cultivate the virtues. And being true to yourself doesn't mean, hating people and being angry because that's how you feel inside. No, no. So I don't mean that. And by, accepting yourself, I don't mean becoming a narcissist. No, don't become a narcissist. So I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is don't try to be like other people. So if you have, uh, if you have a faith in Christ, don't try to be like other people because you are the only believer in Christ where you are. Or if you have unique things to your personality, don't try to be like everybody else. or if you have unique talents or unique skills, or unique hobbies or unique interests, don't try to be like everybody else and get rid of these interests and hobbies and talents and skills. No, keep on with what you're doing. Or if you uh, are physically quite unique, don't hate yourself because of that. So if you are very short, don't be insecure about your height. Or if you are very tall, don't be insecure about your height. Or if you are in a wheelchair, don't feel awful about it. Don't. I know it's kind of. I know I'm being a bit patronizing because I'm not in a wheelchair myself. So, yes, I am being patronizing. Forgive me. Forgive me. And I'm not saying that God made you that way. No. I'm not saying that God made you that way if you are in a wheelchair. No, I'm not saying that. But still, you have to get to the point where you just have to be happy with, your situation. I'm sorry for being patronizing. Forgive me. Yes, but I think it's true. I do think it's true. And also, if you have a birthmark on your face, that's very noticeable. Don't hate yourself because of that. No, don't hate yourself. Accept it. Gain self acceptance. So accept who you are. Accept who you are, because you are made in the image of God. That is an amazing thing, because you are godlike. You are godlike, and you are above the animals. And so that is amazing. Nobody is a nobody to God. You know, we are all a somebody to God. I'm not saying that we have to be narcissistic because of that fact. No, but it's true that we are all unique because we are all made in His image. And so we are all godlike, and we're all made to be creatures of reason and virtue. So maybe you think that you are boring. Maybe you think that you are a very boring and dull and uninteresting person. That's not actually true, because you are made in the image of God. And nobody who is made in the image of God is boring. So don't say to yourself that you are boring. You're not. You're made in the image of God. You are made in the image of God. Don't get yourself down. Don't get yourself down. Be content. And so I'm sorry if I come across as being patronizing. Forgive me. Forgive me. I That's not my intention. Forgive me. But I do think it's true. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I'm sorry for misspeaking, because I don't use a script for the vlogs. And so when you are speaking, when you're improvising for so long, it is natural that you will misspeak. So forgive me for my failures at times to speak properly. Forgive me for my misspeaking, and forgive me if I have offended in any way. I didn't mean to be patronizing. Forgive me, but I hope you guys were edified by this vlog. Do pray for me, you guys. I pray for you. And praise be to Jesus for everything. We I like to say this at the end of vlogs because we have to be thankful. So praise be to Jesus. And we don't thank Jesus enough. I mean, we don't thank Jesus nearly enough. So praise be to Jesus. And so please pray for me. I'm praying for you. And remember, accept who you are. Accept who you are. So accept who you are. Peace be with you all. Amen. Peace be with you all. Peace be with you. Peace be with you.